There are people in your life who smile at you, call you friend, even say they love you. They show up when you're down, offer comfort, and know exactly what to say to make you feel seen. But what if I told you, some of them are not what they seem, beneath the surface of charm and affection? Beneath the polished smiles, the warm hugs, and the familiar words, lurks something ancient, something cold, something inhuman. I'm not just talking about manipulators or toxic people. Not the ones who make mistakes and apologize. Not the ones who are hurt and trying to heal. I'm talking about the ones who are not trying to heal, because they feed off harm. Carl Jung once said, "The devil always comes as everything you've ever wanted." Think about that. Sometimes evil doesn't look like chaos. It looks like comfort. It doesn't arrive with fangs and fire. It arrives with kindness, connection, and control. Have you ever met someone who made you question your own sanity? They gaslight you gently, always just enough to make you unsure. They cross your boundaries slowly, so you don't even notice them disappearing. And every time you feel weak, small, or broken, they seem to grow stronger. Like your pain energizes them. That's not normal. That's not just personality clash. That's not someone who needs therapy. That's something else. Sometimes they enter your life during a moment of need. A breakup, a loss, a crisis. And they offer you safety, but it's a trap disguised as shelter. Because the more you depend on them, the more you feel like you're drowning. They might never scream at you. They might never hit you. But they will twist your soul slowly until you start forgetting who you are. And when you finally wake up, when you try to walk away, they act like you're the villain. This is what Jung meant when he said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." Because when we do, we also have to accept the terrifying truth. We know when someone is not right. We feel it in our gut, but we ignore it because it's easier to pretend they're just complicated. It's safer to think we're overreacting. It's more comfortable to call it love. But deep down, you've seen the signs. That unsettling chill when they walk into a room. How your energy drains when you talk to them for too long. The way they know your wounds and aim right for them when they're angry. These people aren't just broken. They're hollow. They wear masks of empathy and mimic human emotions, but only to manipulate. Their soul feels missing. And here's the hardest part to admit. Sometimes the demon you're afraid of isn't hiding under your bed. It's the person holding your hand, sitting at your dinner table, calling you my love. So, if you've ever felt like someone in your life isn't just difficult, but unnatural, pay attention, because real evil doesn't always growl. Sometimes it smiles. And sometimes it wears the face of someone you trust. The ones who say, "I'd never hurt you." The ones who seem to know your soul, because they're planning how to break it. Carl Jung warned us. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. But some people, they've already lost theirs. So how can you tell? How do you recognize the presence that doesn't just damage you, but feeds on your wounds? How do you see past the charm, into the cold shadow underneath? Here are 5 disturbing signs someone in your life might not just be broken, but a real demon in disguise. 1, they drain your spirit even when they're being nice. Have you ever left a conversation feeling heavier than when you entered? Like your soul just ran a marathon, even though they never raised their voice. These people aren't loud predators. They're silent siphons. They ask all the right questions. They give you attention when you're low. But it's not love, it's leverage. Real demons don't need to scream to destroy you. They simply stand next to you long enough until your light starts to dim. Jung believed the shadow isn't evil itself, but avoiding it is. But this isn't someone facing their darkness. This is someone who becomes the darkness and wraps it in a smile. 2, you feel guilty for things you didn't do. They're masters of guilt transference. They sin, and somehow you end up apologizing. You forget what you're even defending yourself against. Only that you're always on trial. You say, "I just want peace." And they say, "Then why are you attacking me?" No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Carl Jung. But these people, they're not growing toward heaven at all. They've chosen to live in the pit, and they'll drag you there, smiling if you let them. 3, they study you like a predator, not a partner. You think they're just good at reading people, but watch closely. What they're really doing is collecting data. Your fears, your hopes, your insecurities. They memorize them like a surgeon learning where to cut, only they won't heal you after. They won't say, "I see your pain." They'll wait until it's useful, to gain power, to control, to crush you just when you thought you were safe. 4, they play the victim better than anyone. You catch them in a lie. Somehow, you're the one overreacting. They hurt you, but you're the one being toxic. They will weaponize your empathy until you begin questioning your own moral compass. They know your kind heart won't abandon someone in pain, so they fake theirs. Jung taught that evil hides in what we don't want to face. These people are walking mirrors of unhealed chaos. but instead of healing, they infect. 5. Their presence awakens fear, even when nothing is wrong. Have you ever felt that unshakable anxiety when they're near? The tightness in your chest, like your soul is trying to leave your body. Your instincts pick up what your eyes can't see. Something ancient, something evil, something that doesn't come from trauma, but from the absence of a soul. This fear isn't paranoia. It's your spirit screaming, "Get away." But the most dangerous thing, they don't look like demons. They look like lovers who once stared into your soul with eyes that felt like home. They look like friends who laughed with you in your darkest nights. They look like mentors who claimed to see your potential when no one else did. They look like the soulmate you prayed for, until the prayer became a prison. You see, real darkness never enters with horns or howls. It walks in quietly, wrapped in familiarity. Carl Jung once said, "The world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you." And here's the twist. Some people never ask. They never confront the shadows inside them. They just become them. They let trauma sculpt their identity. They let bitterness settle in like cement. And slowly, they stop being people and start becoming masks. You've seen it. The partner who once adored you now gaslights you, twists your words, and makes you question your own mind. The best friend who always needs help, but never shows up when you're drowning. The boss or spiritual guide who started off encouraging your growth, but now demands obedience, loyalty, silence. At first it's just confusion, but then a strange ache, a heaviness in your chest after every interaction. That voice inside you, the one you've been taught to ignore, starts whispering, "Something's wrong." That's not paranoia. That's not overthinking. That is intuition, a sacred alarm system passed down by generations who survived by listening to it. You feel the contradiction between what they say and what they do, the affection that feels like manipulation, the attention that feels more like surveillance, the love that leaves you emptier than before. Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, because when someone hasn't done that, they start projecting everything they hate about themselves onto you. And instead of healing, they make you their battlefield." So if someone in your life matches these signs, don't dismiss it as drama. Don't explain it away as just their personality. Because some people don't carry demons. They've become them. And your spirit knows it before your mind does. If this spoke to something deep inside you, don't ignore it. You're not crazy. You're waking up. Subscribe for more insights like this and protect your soul with truth.